This digital revolution is creating a lot of things with our fundamental rights, and therefore data protection is one of the most important rights in this referral. And that's why we need a kind of a balance to be innovative on the one hand side, to be have new ideas and creative ideas on business models, but on the other hand side, where the data is needed, also the privacy of our citizens are in question. So that's why we need all these fundamental rights also in place in a balanced way.
I think the idea of the digital single market was to create a market, a whole digital economy, and the digital economy is data-driven, whether we like it or not. So I think to me the objective is to find a way to balance different fundamental rights of the European consumers, but also of the European businesses to make this market a reality.
The dialogue between regulators, legislators, users, the public and companies is crucial now. And I mean, we as companies see that we have a really strong responsibility to step up and explain what we do with data and why.
People are getting much more comfortable with the data exchange. They're very much more aware of how it works, and they're very strongly believing that they can exchange their personal data in exchange for value. But at the same time, there are concerns. More than 80% in most countries have concerns about how the data is collected, and their concerns revolve around two issues: transparency, with up to 88% or 91% in some countries, like it would asking for more transparency. And the second issue is control. Again, between 80 and 90% would like more control of what companies do with their data. So I think these things are helpful in showing to industry that we need to do a better job of being open, honest, and transparent about what's happening and articulate the value proposition more clearly.
I think ePrivacy regulation needs to have a balanced approach. The biggest challenge that we are actually facing in our industry is the fact that it is so consent heavy. I think a more flexible approach, because there are other mechanisms to actually protect the use of data in a trusted, founded way, such as, for instance, the use of pseudonymous data. These are the things that really helps data to be protected, and at the same time, not have the consumers bear or the users bear the burden of responsibility.
I think if it goes in the same line as the GDPR and focusing on consent, I think it'll be a nightmare for users. I don't really like the idea of consent. I prefer really to have some strict rules as to how data should be used. What are the limits? How far should websites, platforms, services go in terms of how much they exploit certain data? Should they go as far as looking at sexual orientation, race, socioeconomic status, age, and regulate it in that sense?
Consumer law should be kind of an additional instrument for the GDPR at the end, but not linking these in a way that everyone is confused. So a legal coherent system is the most important one for everyone who is using data for its business models.
Consumer laws and privacy laws are not in line at all. This doesn't work at the moment. We are following two separate paths, and this is for a business. This is horrible because we need to have an idea what is allowed, what is not allowed, and this is not the case at the moment.
FEDMA is going to lay out the foundation of how the ecosystem as a whole can show an accountable approach to data protection. Just to name one example, we have a FEDMA Code of Conduct that has been the one and the only Code of Conduct approved both by the Working Party Article 29 and the Commission.
I think FEDMA has already and will continue to do to show what business needs are. and what is the consumer's needs. It's just not contradictory, not at all. We are following the same path. We're trying to make understand how business works. We can't, as a business, can't live against the consumer. This doesn't work. We're going the same direction.
FEDMA brings with it a strong heritage in data protection and privacy issues going back for many, 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 many years. FEDMA has a perspective based on having been involved with the issues for a long time that allows it to speak both for the customer as well as for the business and help find that balance between privacy and innovation that will create the framework for a successful economic future for us all.